Good morning, my dear students. So today I am going to taking your class on plant anatomy. So this is the syllabus of 4th semester, paper 3rd paper, and it is we will discuss about the basic idea of tissue and tissue system. So this is the basic concept of tissue. So what is tissue? Tissue means it is a group of cells having common origin, structure and function. And in case of tissue system, it is the position of tissue, location of tissue, and this is called tissue system. So tissue mainly are of two types. So this is the tissue. So mainly two types of tissue. One is the plant tissue and animal tissue. Now we will discuss about the plant tissue. So plant tissue generally two types. One is the meristemic tissue and another is the permanent tissue. So the difference between meristemic tissue and permanent tissue is that in case of meristemic tissue, this can divide and redivide. That means they have the ability to cell division, but in case of permanent tissue, they lost the power of cell division. They cannot divide. So this meristemic tissue again classified into two types based on origin and position. So based on origin, meristemic tissue are of three types. One is the promeristem, primary meristem and secondary meristem. And based on position, meristemic tissue again are of three types. One is the apical meristem, intercalary meristem and lateral meristem. So based on origin, we will discuss next is the based on origin of origin and position. Again meristemic tissue, another type of tissue, it is the permanent tissue. They have lost the power of cell division, they cannot divide it. So it is called permanent, but they have definite shape and size. So it is called permanent tissue. So there are definite character present in case of meristemic tissue. Main character is that they have the ability of cell division. So meristem means divided. They can divide and they can form newer cell. Ultimately, they are responsible for growth. So main character is that they are living and thin wall. They are metabolically active. They have contain less amount of DNA, RNA, and they have less amount of reserve food material. And they are mainly polygonal, hexagonal, they are shaped. This is the classification of meristemic tissue. We will discuss about the based on origin. One is the promeristem, primary meristem and secondary meristem. And based on position, this is called apical meristem, intercalary meristem and lateral meristem. So promeristem. Promeristem, it is present inside the embryo. That means inside the seed. So from promeristem, it develops primary meristem. So it is generally present at the apex of the root and shoot. So it is present inside the embryo. Generally it is present in radicle and plumule, and it derives the primary meristem. Next is the primary meristem. Primary meristem, it is derived from promeristem, and its main function is the formation of primary permanent tissue, and they are responsible for primary growth. So in case of plants, there are two types of growth present. One is the primary growth and another is the secondary growth. And in case of primary growth means growth in length, and secondary growth means growth in thickness. So this primary meristem, it is responsible for primary growth. So they from primary permanent tissue. Next is the secondary meristem. So secondary meristem, it is derived from primary permanent tissue. Generally permanent tissue, they can't divide, but sometimes in some special cases they gain the power of cell division and they become meristemic tissue, and this tissue is called secondary meristem. And this secondary meristem, it is responsible for secondary growth, that means growth in thickness. And this secondary meristem, it is present only in dicot, and monocot it is absent. Next, we can also classify meristemic tissue on the basis of position. On the basis of position, we can classify meristem into 3 types. One is the apical meristem, intercalary meristem, and lateral meristem. So it is the apical meristem. Apical meristem, it is present at the apex of shoot and root. This is the shoot apical meristem, and this one is the root apical meristem. And this shoot apical meristem, it is responsible for growth of shoot, and in case of root apical meristem, they are responsible for growth of root. So they are responsible mainly from primary growth, that means growth in length. So this is called growth and increase the growth length. Next is the intercalary meristem. Intercalary meristem, it is present at the base of the leaf or inside the node, and they are responsible for growth of the node, and they also provide mechanical strength. It is present in between the permanent tissue. So you will find this is the node, these are the internode, inside the node, these are the node, inside the node, this intercalary meristem present. Next is the lateral meristem. Lateral meristem, it is present and parallel to the circumference of the stem. You see this red mark, and this mark, it is parallel to the circumference of the stem, and it is responsible for secondary growth. This tissue lies size to the plant's body and gives the secondary growth. Secondary growth means growth in thickness. And this type of meristem present in case of dicot plant, and in monocot plant it is absent. So it forms the secondary tissue. As this is the primary permanent tissue, they form primary tissue, and this lateral meristem, it forms the secondary tissue, and it is responsible for secondary growth. So you see the position. This is the apical part. This apical part, it is present in the apical meristem, and this is present parallel to the circumference of the stem. This is the lateral meristem. So it is the apical meristem, and it is the lateral meristem, and intercalary meristem present at the base of the leaf or in between the node. Next, so we can differentiate the apical meristem, intercalary meristem, and lateral meristem based on the location or position of function. As for example, in case of apical meristem, it is located at the tip of stem and root, and main function is the growth, increase in length. And intercalary meristem, it is present at the tip and base of stem and leaf. And lateral meristem, it is present on the side of the stem and root. That means apical meristem present in apex, intercalary meristem present at the base of node and in between the node, and lateral meristem, it is of the side of the stem. So apical meristem function is the growth in length, intercalary meristem function is the provide mechanical strength, and lateral meristem function is the secondary growth. Next, so we will discuss about the permanent tissue. Permanent tissue means they lost the power of cell division. They cannot divide, and they have definite shape and size. This is the permanent tissue. Meristem tissue, they have ability of cell division. Permanent tissue, they lost the power of cell division. Meristem tissue, they have no size, but in case of permanent tissue, they have definite shape and size. So this is the permanent tissue. They know. So permanent tissue, if we classify permanent tissue, generally 2 types. One is the simple permanent tissue, and another is the complex permanent tissue. So simple permanent tissue, it is made up of one type of cell, and complex permanent tissue, it is made up of different type of cell. So example of simple permanent tissue is the parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma, and complex permanent tissue is the xylem and phloem. So main difference, it is made up of one type of cell, and complex means it is made up of different type of cell. So this is the simple tissue which are made up of similar type of cell. All these are the similar type. Their size may be smaller or larger, but shape and it is similar. So parenchyma, this is the main tissue, main permanent tissue, parenchyma. It is living cell, and here main function is the storage of food material. In addition to this, it also perform respiration, photosynthesis, and they provide mechanical strength. This is the main function of the, and it is present in the fruits, leaves, all parts. So if we consider the function, main function is the aid in photosynthesis. In case of parenchyma, here chlorophyll present. When chlorophyll present, then this parenchyma is called chlorenchyma, and this chlorenchyma, it is responsible for photosynthesis. This is the chlorenchyma. Chlorenchyma, it is also one type of parenchyma, but here chlorophyll present, so it is called chlorenchyma. And another parenchyma tissue here contain air space or air cavity or air chamber, so this parenchyma is called aerenchyma. It gives the buoyancy to the plants. This is the hydrophytic plants mainly floating due to the presence of this parenchyma. It is called aerenchyma. Collenchyma, it is also living, but here cell wall is slightly thicker than the parenchyma. And here main component is the cellulose and pectin. So it provides tensile strength or mechanical strength. Here also intercellular space present, but intercellular space is very less amount, and so it provides mechanical strength. This is also called tensile strength. That means allow bending of stem leaves without breaking. These stems may be bent but do not break, because due to the presence of the collenchyma. Next is the sclerenchyma. Sclerenchyma, it is the dead, simple, permanent tissue. Other tissue, parenchyma, collenchyma, they are living, but in case of sclerenchyma, it is the dead tissue. And it is hard. It is hard due to the presence of lignin. So it is hard lignin. So it is the it provides main function is the mechanical strength or tensile strength. This is the sclerus, one type of parenchyma, sclerenchyma. It is present. So if we see the difference between parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma, we see that in case of cells, parenchyma living, collenchyma living, but sclerenchyma, it is the dead tissue. Intercellular space, in case of parenchyma, less, collenchyma lesser, and in case of sclerenchyma, no intercellular space. Cell wall composition, it is cellulose. It is in case of collenchyma, it is cellulose and pectin compound, and in case of sclerenchyma, it is cellulose and lignin. And the cell wall here thin, slightly thin, and it is the thin. The main function is the storage, photosynthesis. Main function collenchyma is the flexibility, and main function is the support and protection. Complex. Complex means it is made up of different type of cell, so it is called complex. So example of complex permanent tissue is the xylem and phloem. And xylem and phloem, the main function is the conduction, so it is also called conductive tissue. So tissue made up of many type of cell, so it is called complex. Cell coordinated to perform a specific common function. Example is the xylem and phloem. Complex permanent tissue, this is also called conductive tissue. It is mainly conduction. In case of xylem, they conduct water and mineral from roots to the leaves, and in case of phloem, they conduct food material from leaves to the other parts of the plants. So dear student, time is over. Next class we will discuss about the different type of complex tissue and their function. Thank you.